Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So let us start our class. So if you go to the first year experience page, you will see that if YE feedback, so please give your feedback. Okay. So that whatever time I, as an instructor of this course, I spend to make you happy and make you understanding some critical concept. I tried my best to represent some difficult topics in simplest ways. I think you will remember me sometime later or forever. Whenever you go to your job interview or for your work, the abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, those stuff definitely you will remember me for those stuff. So give your feedback. So if you go to the first year experience page and if you select this is my course, CSE1321 programming or lab or problem solving. So please give your positive feedback here. And another thing that if you go to the rate my professor on that page, and I would appreciate if you rate over there, rate me over there. Okay. And another thing that you should receive an email for the first year experience survey. Okay, so if you complete the survey and maybe today is the last day, and if you reply with a screenshot, you will get some bonus points. And please do not forget about the course evaluation, right? Okay. Okay, and Monday will be our last class. Okay, and there is another announcement. And Friday there is no office hour. I will have be out on Friday. So I have cancelled my office hour. And Monday is our last class, right? So should we have the party? That we are gonna bring some food or popcorns or some. Should we have? Okay, if you like, then I can participate. I can bring some, or I can give some money to you. Then you can bring some food, or you can share. You can do it. We can do a potluck type gathering. Okay. For the last 4 months, we studied a lot, right? Okay. So it will be good if we have a refreshment. Okay. So, is everybody ready for the upcoming test? Yeah. Okay. And I believe, I have covered everything. I have covered everything. What will be are in this topic, in this course. Okay, but maybe a few things we will not cover for the upcoming test. But for the test, maybe we will confirm in the study guide. Maybe you will not need file operations. You will not need exception handling. You will not need GUI operation for this test. These will be excluded. Okay. Happy? Yes. Okay. And maybe parallel processing. But we will make sure in the study guide, follow the study guide. We will pass the study guide by Friday. Okay. And if you follow my class, I think your lab final will be easy. Your lab final is more easier than this course. You will be asked to construct a class with constructors, getter setters, something right, but follow the instructions. Give the exact name of the class, whatever you are asked to do. Okay. And you know that in Java or C# it is case sensitive, right? So follow that uppercase or lowercase what is asked. And surely do some practice on array, or both one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array. I discussed two problems, right? Searching a specific element or searching the max, highest or lowest, minimum or maximum, even or odd numbers from one-dimensional or two-dimensional arrays, and review for class, constructing a class with getters and setters and constructors. Okay, and review the topics that I discussed about what? Polymorphism. Okay, maybe we can discuss this today. And then abstract class, inheritance, stack, no, linked list. Stack has only two mainly we discussed in our last step, push and pop. Okay, and then for QE, NQ and DQ operation, and for linked list, please understand prepend and append. Do not memorize code, okay? Because you will get something different than that we discussed. If you memorize, then you will lose your track, okay? But if you can memorize and handle it with the different variable field names, then fine. But try to understand. Okay, what else I did not cover? Okay, so for instance, if you are given a list, okay, for the last 3 class, can I request you not to use any device? Give attention to me, please. Close your device. Close your phones, please. You will get more time. But if you lose 1 point, you may lose a grade. Okay, give attention to me, please. So if you are given a set of a list of data for an integer number, and if you are asked, considering this list, 1 pairs to 2, 4, 7, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Consider 20 as the root. Okay, and construct a binary substitute. Will you be able to do that? So if you are given some numbers, randomly numbers, and if you are asked to draw a binary substitute with that number, and we will be given, you may be given, you will be given a fixed root. Consider that for 20 or 30 as a root, and then draw a binary substitute. Okay, that should be easier. If you understand, then you know that how to print, how to display the nodes values in order, pre-order, and post-order. Right? Understand? Okay, and then good. In our last class, what did I explain about it? Cover? Did I cover abstraction? No? I did not cover this abstraction. Okay, so let me start with abstraction. Okay. So this is the program that I discussed with a vehicle abstract class. Okay, so can we recall that what are the advantages of having, or advantages and disadvantages of having an abstract class? Let us first start with disadvantages or limitations. So one of the disadvantages of having an abstract class, can anyone please tell me a disadvantage? If I say, can I say vehicle equal to vehicle V0 equal to new vehicle? Why? Yes, you're right, right? So I cannot say that because my vehicle over here is an abstract class, okay? So I cannot instantiate that. It will give me an error. So although this portion it says is a method, calling a method, right? This is a constructor, right? So although if I have a constructor in my vehicle class, this is my constructor, but I cannot use this constructor. Okay. What is the reason that it is an abstract, right? So then why do I need an abstract class? Yes. Same property, yes. 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 Yes, it will ensure that an object must have some properties. For instance, in order to be a living being, living human being, right? We must, everybody has a working head, right? We have seen many people in this world. There are some people that have no hands, no legs. But have we seen anybody that without head? No, this is an essential, essential organ, right, in our life, in our body. So if we construct a human body, so then head, our head part, is, must be abstracted, right? So without a head, it never. But so that let us look around here, about our head. Some of us we are bald-headed. Okay, some of you have nice hair. Okay, so almost everybody has different hairstyle, right? So that implementation is in complete human. Everybody has his different hairstyle, haircut, right? Okay, so maybe God has created as that person abstract. Okay, almost everything in our body is abstract. No, now two, organs are same for two people. Almost, although they look alike. Okay, so but for instance, so here what object oriented property is implied over here? Which object oriented property is implied here? Abstraction. Abstraction. Polymorphism is here. Polymorphism here. So although can I say bus? I can say bus V1 equal to new bus. Although I can say vehicle V1 equal to new bus. But there are some difference having bus vehicle V1 equal to new bus and bus V1 equal to new bus. There's some slight internally different. Okay. Maybe I discussed that in the class while I discussed this thing in depth. Review that lecture, or you need to try yourself. Make some changes in your program and then try to see what are the effects, what are the error messages coming from, and try to understand why. Run the program and see that if you get same output. Okay, the easiest way to remember is that whether it is a correct or not is to ask a question to yourself. Are all buses vehicle? Yes. If you get yes answer, then it is correct, right? If you get no answer, then it is not correct. So now this time you understand, right? Okay, I like that everybody will get full points for this one. Okay, and so there is no doubt for this one. All cards are card. Okay, but how about the last one? No, right? Okay, so whatever I discussed for the last 5 minutes, if you remember this, it will work for you for forever in your life. When you take computer science advanced level course, when you go to work in industry, in programming, you will need this concept. Although now at this time it should be pretty simple for you, right? But remember that how long it took you to come to at this point, right? It took some time to be organized in this way. Okay, that's it. And another thing that I explained, interface. Okay, for instance, in this program, so either for the interface, it is a naming convention that for the interface our name started with I, but it is not a required condition. It is an optional. Every programmer has its own way. Every company has its own way to declare its class or variable. But this is commonly used way is that you will make it I to just quickly to identify so that people quickly identify that this is an interface. Although if you see in Java there is a little bit I over here. If you give close attention, then you will see I, little bit I icon. That means an interface. Okay, so if I have an interface, then I cannot do this as well as I cannot say I vehicle V1 equal to new I vehicle. Okay, but I can say okay, but for this one I cannot say okay. But here you see that I can say I vehicle V1 equal to new bus. Okay, because all buses are type, all buses, if you see my bus class, it inherits my interface. Okay, then it is possible. So the now can you recall the main differences between an abstract class and an interface? So if you are get this interview question, okay, if you get this interview, what are the difference between? You should be prepared for telling at least 5 differences. If you remember 5 differences, then I will tell that you know everything. Okay, but your differences should be logical and should be object-oriented concept. For instance, if I ask a question, what is the difference between a boy and a girl? If I ask this question to a little baby, okay, then he may or she may answer that, okay, boys have small hair, but girls have large hair. Okay, that answer is acceptable for a little baby, right? But if I ask you this question, what is the difference between a boy and a girl? Or what is the difference between boys and girls? That answer will not be accepted from me. Right? Okay, that will be very silly answer. Okay, and you will get negative points for that one. Okay. So for instance, if you tell that okay, for an abstract class, I use extend, and for an interface, I use implement. That is not a good answer. You can tell this answer at the end. Okay, after you answer 4 or 5 points, major points, you can tell that later. Okay. Okay, but the first and foremost, Difference is that an abstract class is 0 to 100% abstract. I meant 0 to 100%. That means if you have an abstract class, is this an abstract? This is an abstract class. You may have no abstract method. For instance, I don't have an abstract method ever here. But still, I don't have an abstract method, but still I can have this class an abstract. Okay, that is 0% abstract, right? It is abstract by nature, but there is no abstract method over here. Okay, so this method, is this method abstract or not abstract? How do I know it? What is the sign to understand whether a method is abstract or not? No, yeah, that is one sign, but the main sign is that implementation. Has it a body? Is this a body? Yes. Even it is empty. Okay, there is nothing in between, but this curly bracket starts the body and this ends the body, so it has a body. Right? Okay. So this abstract class, although it has no abstract method, but still it is an abstract class. So 0% abstract, okay? And it may have all method abstract. It may have all methods abstract. So that means an abstract class is abstract 0 to 100%, okay? But in general, an abstract class contains at least one abstract method. Okay, and what is the next difference? Yeah, you want to tell me? Yes, good. He has a good point. An abstract class cannot sample multiple inheritance, because if I say abstract class, I can extend only one class, right? Okay, but this thing is that you remember in C++, it is possible to have multiple inheritance. In C++, but we are not discussing C++, we are discussing C# and Java. And modern languages do not allow multiple inheritance. Okay, that means you cannot extend multiple abstract classes. That for any class you cannot extend. Okay, but for interface you may implements multiple interfaces, right? Okay, and an interface is 100% abstract. That means for any you see that for any methods in an abstract you cannot have a body. But for for an abstract class, for some methods you may have implementation, right? But for an interface you cannot have any implementation. Okay, there's another important. Okay, and one other thing that I discussed, the static modifier. It is a very important thing. Okay, and very useful thing. It has some extra strength and power. Static modifier. When you get chance, not before this test, after this test, when you in the summer break, when you get chance, please study more about static qualifiers, because it has some extra strength and power. Okay, everything I could not cover in this course, but maybe I discuss some important topics. You see that for this static method, if I say static, then I can do it. I can instantiate this variable. Okay. So if you understand abstraction, abstract, polymorphism, and inheritance, okay, then you know all 4 or 5 pillars of object-oriented programming, right? Okay, especially this one. If you do not understand this thing, this concept clearly, if you don't have clear concept about this program, please do not tell me that you took this course with Professor Mokhtar Hossain. Tell that you took this course with any other else. Okay, do not ruin my reputation, please. But if you still need help to understand, be clear it, even after the test, see me and I will give you extra time. But I believe you should understand by this point, and you must need to understand. Otherwise, you will get trouble. Okay, what else? Then we discussed linked list. Okay, that is an important. How many minutes I do have? Okay, then we discussed singly linked list. So we know, what is the essential or main component of a linked list? Thank you. A node is the essential component of a linked list, also for stack and for QE and for binary search tree, almost for all advanced data structure elements. The node is the essential component. Okay. Okay. What does a node contain? What does a node contain? Okay. First thing that it contains some data, right? And what? Okay. So then it depends on another node. Okay. It can contain one node or 2 nodes, multiple nodes, right? Okay. For instance, if it may contain here is head is next, or I could say head, or I could say tail. Okay, for stack QE, for instance QE, right? It needs 2 nodes, right? One for head, one for tail. Right, the difference. So you need to understand you should have some clear concept about linked list, stack, and queue basic operation, insertion operation, insertion and delete operation about linked list, stack, and queue. Really, these are difficult. Even it took long time for me to understand. Okay, and another thing that it took long time for me to understand polymorphism concept. And everybody, even if you ask this question, when advanced level programmers, senior programmers who have been working in companies, IT industries for a long time, even they will not be able to answer about the polymorphism. For instance, if you ask this question like this question, which one is correct, which one is incorrect? Okay, this needs in-depth knowledge. Okay, and for stack, for linked list operation, for instance, we discussed this, right? Okay, we discussed the prepend and append operations. Okay, the codes are there. I want to try to make it one line. Let me see if I can one line. Okay, for this part, this one, you see that this part is not checking null head, whether is an empty linked list or not. This part is same. You see, this part is exactly same for the prepend or append operation. But you see, this part is different. This part is different for prepend and append. So the good way to understand this, make some changes in your code. Try to run the program, and if you see, oops, I did not get exact result, then try to realize why I did not get the result, okay? Then you will get concept clear. Okay, I like everybody to have clear concept about prepend, append, push, pop, and NQ and DQ operation. Okay, and later if you can do the delete operation for linked list, then it will be better. But for now, for this test, you don't need remove operation for linked list. Okay. Then what? Stack. Okay. So for stack, a node contains the next same thing. Okay. And we discuss the push operation. Okay. One thing that for the stack, the push operation for a standard stack is this null pointer check is optional, but it's good to have. Okay. But if you do not give it, do not use it, then in the while grading the test, first I remove point, but later I give the point back. Make sure that if you still did not get point for this, for not having this null pointer check, then please let me know. But I believe I give point to everybody, even if it did not have in this one. Okay, so even it works. So then if it works, then only 2 lines, right? Only 3 lines here. This line is creating a new node, and that node dot next equal to top, and then top equal to node. Okay, try to understand this way. I got some people's response like this way, and node equal to top. Will it work? Okay. Although there is no error. Good, but try to yourself. Try to execute this program, and then you will see the effect. Okay. Okay. So please try to understand the effect of these 2 lines, but do not memorize this code. Because in the last grade, in the class lecture, I discussed this with top, but in our test, we had this node as different name. But still, I got some response like this. Node dot next equal to top, top equal to node. That means they memorize this, right? Okay, and for pop operation, although this is the only one line, is the essential line, but we must have a null pointer check. Otherwise, what will happen? If your stack is empty, then you will get an exception. Will not work. Because if your stack is empty, then if you want to pop it, it should return you. It should tell you that, oh, there is no element, you cannot pop it, right? So this is the null pointer check. If it is top equal to null, that means that the stack is empty, right? So if it is empty, then it should return. Even if you do not write this line, that's just if you return it, then fine. You know that one thing that is a good tricky interview question. Okay, so that if I said void right over here, so that means what is the use of void? So if I say void, then I may have return statement, but I cannot have return value. Okay, I cannot return any value from here. Usually return statement is used for two purposes. One, to return or back from the method, stop its execution and back to from the method, or to return some values to the sender. But here, if you say void, return type is void, then you may have a return statement, but you cannot have a return value. This is a tricky interview question. Sometimes they ask this type of interview question: can a void method have a return statement? If you do not give close attention to the last word, they say, can a method with void return type have a return statement, right? So they did not say return value, they said statement. So then yes, right? But if it's the value, then say no, right? Okay. Okay, and then for stack, okay, understand this push and pop operations, and for QE, last is QE, right? Okay, QE has only two methods. Remember that a QE is different than, it's more similar with a stack, but different is that in stack operations are going only, both push and pop operations go only in one side. Okay, but for QE, insertion goes in the tail. Okay, but this is called MQE, is going on the tail side, but the DQE or extraction or deletion goes from the front. A queue is a line of ticket counter. First come, first serve, right? Okay. Then, okay, so for the stack, QE, and linked list, try to understand this, and then we discuss multi-threading, and also I discussed in depth of multi-threading. We don't need that much in depth. I also discussed parallel processing, right? What is the parallel processing? Fork join full discuss. That's pretty well, and for this test and your lab, you do not need GUI operations. Okay. Okay, and I also have discussed array list. I also discussed array list. Let me give a good name. Okay, in Java and C Sharp, there is a built-in array list class. Okay, so your class must have a different name than array list built-in class. Okay, so array list, for there is a add operation, remove operation. An array list is a dynamic array. Okay, that you can add any number of items or delete any number of items. It grows and shrinks dynamically. Okay. Then in your next courses, definitely you will need to use array list. So when you get time, so maybe I showed some resources. You can do a Google search and do some more practice about array list. Okay, then another thing is the recursive method, right? We discussed recursive method. Maybe what else over here? Oh, this program is here. I did not see that. Okay. Okay, the recursive method is an important topic. We use this throughout our programming concept and higher level programming. So in our next class, we will discuss recursion and we will review the recursion. Maybe that will be our last one. So on Monday, should we have a class on Monday or we should end by Friday? Do you want to have a party and then bring some foods and then we can meet outside on Monday? Okay, if you want to do that for Monday, so then please discuss yourself and let me know if I need to contribute. Yes, you have a question? Which? Oh, okay. Yeah, for the survey, you should receive on the instruction says, not to me. Maybe the instruction says where to send email. Read the instructions. The instruction says where to reply. We have a graduate student. He will conduct this. He's conducting this survey. And he will do this. So, anyone has any other question? You do? You're good. Everybody is good. Okay. So then, my last thing. Please complete the course evaluation. And at this point, I expect a positive evaluation from you. Okay, about my effort. Thank you so much.